My wife called at 11 p.m., breathing hard, struggling to speak. I will be late. Don't worry. In the background, a male voice laughed. A bed creaked. The sound of sheets rustling, that unmistakable rhythm that married people recognize instantly. I let her finish. Waited 3 seconds, then said very calmly, "Take your time. I'll need some to pack your things." I hung up before she could respond. 30 minutes. That's all it took to dismantle 8 years of marriage. Before we dive deeper into this story, I have one small request. Please subscribe, drop a like, comment, and hit that hype button to boost this channel so more people can discover these incredible Reddit stories. The thing about working night shifts at a logistics warehouse is you learn efficiency. Every motion counts, no wasted energy, no second guessing. I grabbed 2 suitcases from the hall closet and moved through our bedroom like I was loading a delivery truck on a tight deadline. Her clothes went in first, dresses she wore to girls' nights that somehow required full makeup and expensive perfume. The lingerie I'd never seen her wear around me, still with tags on some pieces. Shoes I couldn't afford, but she'd bought anyway with our joint credit card, stacked in boxes she'd hidden in the closet. I wasn't angry, not yet. Anger is messy, clouds judgment, makes you do stupid things that lawyers use against you later. I was operational, clinical, moving with purpose. Bathroom next. Her makeup scattered across the counter like a crime scene. Expensive lotions, serums, face masks, whatever the hell she bought from those Instagram ads that promised eternal youth. I swept it all into a grocery bag, not caring if bottles broke. The framed wedding photo on the wall went into a box, glass facing down. I kept the frame. Threw away the picture of us smiling on a beach in Mexico back when I thought we were happy. My phone buzzed, Olivia calling back. I silenced it and kept working. In the kitchen I found the folder I kept in the back of the utility drawer, under old takeout menus and instruction manuals for appliances we'd replaced years ago. Prenup, house deed, marriage certificate. The house was mine before we married. My grandfather left it to me when I was 23, 1 year before I met her. She'd signed paperwork acknowledging that 3 months before the wedding, when her mother insisted we protect both parties because her sister had gone through an expensive divorce. Funny how wisdom sounds different depending on whose side it's protecting. I called Tommy, a locksmith who worked second shift at the warehouse. Good guy, reliable, owed me for covering his roots 3 months straight when his kid was sick and he needed the flexibility. "Hey man, weird favor," I said, keeping my voice steady. "Can you change my locks? Like, right now?" "It's almost midnight, Nick. I'll pay double. Cash." Silence on the line. Then, "What's the address?" I gave it to him. "Bring everything. Keys, deadbolts, chains, the works." "You getting robbed or divorced?" "Does it matter?" "No. Be there in 20. Next call was to my sister, Anna, nurse at County General Hospital, used to late-night emergencies and chaos, never rattled by anything. "This better be good," she answered, voice thick with sleep. "I need you to hear me say something, clearly, on the record." "Nick, what the hell? Just listen. I'm at home. It's 11:23 p.m. I'm completely calm and sober. Olivia cheated on me. I heard her with someone else on the phone 20 minutes ago. I'm removing her belongings from my house, which I own, per our prenuptial agreement. Can you confirm you hear me speaking normally and rationally?" Long pause. I heard her sitting up, sheets rustling. "Holy hell. Yeah, Nick. You sound disturbingly calm, actually. Are you okay?" "I'm fine. Save this voicemail. I might need it." "Need it for what?" "Legal purposes, in case she tries to say I was violent or unstable tonight." "Jesus." "Okay. Yeah, I'm saving this. Call me tomorrow." I hung up and kept moving. Her desk in the spare bedroom yielded more ammunition than I expected. Credit card statements showing charges at hotels I'd never been to. The Starlight Motel by the freeway, 19 charges over 4 months. Receipts from restaurants while I was working night shifts, places we'd never been together. A greeting card, still sealed in its envelope, from someone named Jason with a little heart drawn in the corner and "Thinking of you" scrawled inside when I opened it. Jason. Of course his name was Jason, probably spelled it with a Y, Jason. That type. Tommy showed up at 11:41, toolbox in hand, not asking questions beyond what I needed. Smart guy, professional. He worked fast, drilling out the old deadbolt, installing new tumblers, replacing the handle set. I carried boxes to the driveway while he worked, making trip after trip, my breath fogging in the cold November air. Our neighborhood was the kind where porches sagged and chain-link fences collected rust and old newspapers. Sodium streetlights buzzed overhead, turning everything yellow and sick-looking. The elderly woman next door was still awake, her TV flickering blue through thin curtains. She'd have a story for her book club tomorrow. The whole street would. By 11:55, 6 boxes and 2 suitcases sat on the cracked driveway, arranged neatly. Everything that proved she existed in this house, now waiting for her under that ugly streetlight like garbage bags on collection day. Tommy handed me 3 new keys on a ring. "Once I turn this last tumbler," he said quietly. "She's a guest at best, more like a trespasser." Perfect. He packed up his tools, looking at me with something like sympathy. "You need anything else, man, you call me. Day or night. I appreciate that." I paid him in cash, counted out from the emergency fund I kept in the garage. He left without looking back, like he knew he'd just witnessed the opening scene of something that would get worse before it got better. I stood in the doorway, checking my phone. No calls since the one I'd ignored. She was probably panicking, trying to figure out how much I knew, what I'd heard, whether she could spin this into something forgivable. At 12:03 a.m., headlights swung into the driveway. Her car, that little sedan she'd insisted on leasing despite me explaining 3 times that we couldn't afford a $400 monthly payment. She parked behind the boxes, engine idling for a long moment like she couldn't process what she was seeing. The engine cut. Door opened. Olivia stepped out wearing clothes I didn't recognize, tight jeans that looked new, a low-cut top I'd never seen, hair still messed up from whatever she'd been doing, makeup smeared slightly around her eyes. She smelled like cologne when the wind shifted. Not mine. She stared at the boxes, then at me standing in the doorframe, backlit by the living room lamp. "Nick, what the hell is this?" "Your things." "My things? Are you serious right now?" She walked toward the door, pulling keys from her purse with shaking hands. I watched her try to fit her key in the new lock. It slid in but wouldn't turn. She tried again, jamming it harder. "This isn't funny." Wasn't meant to be. She looked up at me then, and I saw the calculation happening behind her eyes. The rapid scramble to figure out which lie would work, which version of tonight's events she could sell. "Baby, listen, I can explain. Gym closed early tonight?" "What?" "You said you'd be late at the gym. Emergency meeting with your manager, you said. Did they renovate the equipment room into a luxury suite? Install king-size beds?" Her face flushed red. "You're being ridiculous. Let me in. We can talk about this like adults." I pulled my phone out, opened the voice recording app where I'd saved the call, pressed play. Her own voice filled the quiet street, breathing hard, moaning softly. That male laugh in the background, deeper than mine, more confident. The bed creaking in a rhythm that built and built. Then her voice again, trying to sound normal. "I will be late. Don't worry." And my response, cold and even. "Take your time. I'll need some to pack your things." I stopped the playback. Olivia's face went white, then red, then something between fury and panic, her expression cycling through emotions faster than I could track them. "You recorded me?" "You butt-dialed me. I just saved it. For legal purposes. Ohio's a single-party consent state for recordings, by the way. Looked it up while I was packing your bathroom stuff." "Legal? What are you talking about? This is my house, too." "Actually, no." I held up the deed, which I'd put in a clear plastic sleeve. "Prenup. You remember? The document you signed that said this house stays mine if things go south? Well, they went south. You can contest it in court if you want, but you'll lose and rack up legal fees you can't afford. You can't just lock me out." "I didn't lock you out. I denied you entry to my private property. Your belongings are right there, completely undamaged. You're free to take them anywhere you'd like. I'm not stopping you from accessing your property. I'm just not letting you access mine." She stared at me like I'd grown a second head and started speaking Latin. This wasn't the Nick she knew. The one who worked 60-hour weeks and never complained. The one who said, "Yes, honey," and "whatever you want, honey," and pretended not to notice when she came home at 2 a.m., smelling like someone else's cologne. The one who paid for everything while she spent money we didn't have on clothes and nights out with friends who encouraged her worst impulses. "You're insane," she hissed. "You can't do this. It's illegal. Call the police then." "I'll wait." "You're serious?" "Completely." She pulled out her phone, fingers shaking so badly she dropped it once before managing to dial. Put it on speaker so I could hear, probably hoping it would intimidate me. 911, what's your emergency?" "My husband locked me out of my house." Her voice cracked perfectly, shifting into victim mode. "I need police here immediately. I'm standing outside with all my belongings on the driveway and he won't let me in." She gave the address, described the situation with just enough hysteria to sound convincing, hung up, smiled at me like she'd won some kind of victory. "You're about to look really stupid," she said. "We'll see." 10 minutes later, 2 patrol cars pulled up, lights off, but presence intimidating. 4 officers stepped out, hands near their belts, assessing the situation with trained eyes. Boxes on driveway. Woman standing outside, crying. Man blocking doorway. Calm. "Evening, folks," the older cop said. Name tag read, Williams. Gray hair, weathered face, the look of someone who'd responded to 1,000 domestic calls and could spot the truth in 30 seconds. "What's going on here?" Olivia jumped in first, voice cracking with manufactured tears. "He locked me out. This is my home, and he changed the locks without any warning. I need to get inside. I need my things. He's being abusive and controlling." Williams looked at me. "Sir?" "House is mine," I said calmly, pulling out my folder. "Premarital asset. Here's the deed showing I owned this property before the marriage. Here's our prenuptial agreement where she acknowledged in writing that the house remains mine in the event of separation. She cheated on me tonight. I heard her with another man over the phone. I've removed her belongings from my property and placed them safely in the driveway, completely undamaged. I'm within my legal rights to deny entry to my private residence." I handed him the documents. He read them carefully with a flashlight, his partner checking both our IDs and running them for warrants or protection orders. "Ma'am," Williams said after a long minute, "according to these documents, the residence is his sole property. Your prenuptial agreement confirms this. He has the legal right to deny you access." "But it's my home. I've lived here for 8 years." "Not anymore," the younger cop said, voice almost sympathetic. "Your belongings are present and undamaged. He hasn't destroyed your property or prevented you from taking it. This is a civil matter, not criminal. You'll need to handle property disputes through a lawyer." Olivia's phone rang, loud in the silence of the suburban street. She glanced at the screen. Panic flashed across her face. She tried to silence it quickly, but Williams had seen the name flash on the screen. Jason calling. "Don't answer that," Williams said quietly. But her finger slipped. Hit accept instead of decline. The voice came through the speaker before she could stop it. "You coming back?" A male voice, annoyed and impatient. "Because I got work in the morning and I'm not staying up all night for this drama." She ended the call. Too late. The officers exchanged glances, that look of understanding that passes between cops who've seen this situation play out 100 times. Williams handed me back my documents. "Sir, keep records of everything. Every interaction, every text message, every conversation. Ma'am, I strongly suggest you collect your belongings and find somewhere else to stay tonight. If there's a dispute about property division or asset allocation, handle it through the proper legal channels." "This is insane," Olivia shouted, dropping the victim act for pure rage. "He can't just throw me out like trash." "He didn't throw you out," Williams said, patience wearing visibly thin. "He exercised his legal property rights. I'm sorry, but there's nothing criminal here. If you refuse to leave the property after being asked, then you're trespassing and we'll have to remove you." They got back in their cars, waited to make sure the situation didn't escalate. The message was clear. Collect your things and leave, or we'll arrest you for trespassing. The street fell quiet again except for the buzz of the streetlight and a dog barking 3 houses down. Olivia stood there, shaking, mascara starting to run down her cheeks in dark streaks. She looked at the boxes, at me, at her phone, at the police cars idling in the street. Where am I supposed to go? Not my problem anymore. Nick, please. Baby, please. I made a mistake. One stupid mistake. We can work through this. We can go to counseling. We can fix this. One mistake? How many hotel receipts should I show you? She froze. Yeah, I said. Found those too. 19 charges to the Starlight Motel over 4 months. This wasn't tonight's mistake, Olivia. This was months of mistakes. You just finally got caught. She tried calling Jason again. It went straight to voicemail. She tried twice more. Same result. He'd turned off his phone. I watched her call Mia, her best friend, the one who'd been encouraging this whole thing. No answer. Called 2 more numbers from her recent calls list. Nobody picking up at 12:30 a.m. for someone else's drama. Finally, she started loading boxes into her car, crying loudly, slamming the trunk lid over and over, making a production of it for the neighbors who'd started peeking through windows and curtains, playing the victim for an audience that would gossip about this for months. When the last box was crammed into her sedan, she turned back to me one more time. "You declared war tonight," she said, voice low and venomous. "You're going to regret this." "No," I said. "I ended a war I didn't know I was fighting. There's a difference." She got in her car, sat there for a long moment, crying, probably hoping I'd change my mind, come running out, beg her to stay. I went inside and closed the door. Her tires squealed as she peeled out, leaving black marks on the concrete, almost hitting a mailbox across the street. I locked the new deadbolt, checked the windows, leaned against the door. My phone buzzed. Text from her. "You'll regret this. I promise you'll regret this." I typed back, "Good." I was tired of pretending we were on the same team. Then I blocked her number, blocked her on social media, blocked her email address. And finally, standing alone in my house, not ours, I let myself feel it. Not sadness, not heartbreak, not even anger anymore. Relief. Pure, clean relief. Like I'd been holding my breath underwater for months and finally surfaced. The warehouse looked different at 5 a.m. after you've blown up your entire life. Same fluorescent lights humming overhead, same diesel smell from the forklifts, same mountains of pallets stacked to the ceiling like industrial skyscrapers. But everything felt sharper now. Clearer. Like someone had turned up the contrast on reality. I operated the forklift on autopilot, lifting shipping containers, moving inventory from bay to bay, scanning barcodes, updating the system. The work was mindless enough that my brain could run in the background, processing everything that had happened. "Yo, Nick!" Ethan jogged over during the first break, safety vest flapping, hard hat slightly crooked, big guy, shaved head, arms covered in tattoos from his Marine days, worked forklifts like they were extensions of his body. "You good? You look like hell, man." "Olivia and I are done." "Oh, damn, sorry, brother." "Don't be." He studied me with sharp eyes that missed nothing. Ethan looked like a bouncer, but he was smart, observant, the kind of guy who saw through bullshit instantly. "What happened?" "She was screwing someone else. I found out last night around 11. Kicked her out by midnight." "Jesus Christ. You need anything? You got a place to crash if things get weird?" "I kept the house. It's mine. She's the one who needs to figure out where she's staying." "Wait, you kicked her out? How'd you manage that?" "Prenup. House was mine before we got married. My grandfather left it to me." Ethan whistled low. "Smart. Most guys get destroyed in divorces. You came prepared." "My grandfather was divorced twice. He taught me some things." "Clearly. You need eyes and ears on anything. You let me know. You hear anything about her or some trainer named Jason from that gym on Parkway? Let me know immediately." "Trainer Jason?" Ethan's face changed, recognition flickering. "Dude. Tall guy, super tan, drives a black BMW he definitely can't afford?" "Probably. I saw Olivia's car at the Starlight Motel, like 2, maybe 3 months ago. That dump by the freeway where prostitutes take clients. I figured you were with her, trying to spice things up or whatever. Didn't mention it because it seemed personal. Didn't want to be weird about it. 2 months minimum, probably longer." My hands tightened on my coffee cup. "Appreciate you telling me now." "Damn, Nick. I should have said something. If I'd known, wouldn't have mattered. I wasn't ready to see it then. Now I am." The break room was covered in motivational posters that corporate sent out every quarter. Together, Everyone achieves more. Your attitude determines your altitude. Success is a team sport. Corporate garbage that meant nothing when they fought you on overtime pay and refused to fix the heating system. I grabbed burnt coffee from the machine that hadn't been cleaned in 6 months and checked my phone. 17 missed calls from numbers I didn't recognize. 3 voicemails. Nothing from Olivia directly since I'd blocked her. One voicemail caught my attention. A woman's voice, familiar. Mia, Olivia's best friend. The one who worked at some upscale nail salon downtown and spent her entire existence gossiping and stirring up drama. I played it on low volume. Nick, it's Mia. Look, I don't know what Olivia told you, but you need to calm down and let her back in the house. She's absolutely destroyed right now. She's sleeping in her car. You can't just throw people out like trash. That's not how marriage works. You made vows. You promised for better or worse. Call me back so we can work this out like adults. Delete. Next message. Different number. Hey, this is Troy, Olivia's cousin. Listen, man, the family's saying you went psycho last night. That's not cool. She's got rights. You can't just lock someone out of their home. That's probably illegal. You need to let her back in and talk this through properly. Be a man about this. Delete. They were mobilizing, building a narrative, creating a story where I was the villain, the crazy husband who snapped without cause. Fine. Let them. My phone buzzed. Anna calling. You alive? She asked. Unfortunately. How are you feeling? Empty? Relieved? Confused? Take your pick. That's normal. Want me to come over tonight after my shift? I get off at 7. Yeah. Bring food. I haven't eaten since yesterday morning. Chinese okay? Perfect. Nick? Yeah? You did the right thing. I know it doesn't feel like it right now, but you did. After the shift ended at 2 p.m., I drove home through streets that looked different now. Everything looked different. Like someone had adjusted the saturation on reality, made the colors either too bright or too dull. Nothing felt normal anymore. I'd lived in this neighborhood my whole life. Grew up 3 blocks over in a house my parents sold when they retired to Florida. These were my streets. Cracked sidewalks, rusted playground equipment in the park, corner store that sold scratchers and Lucy's to anyone who didn't look like a cop. Working-class people doing working-class things, trying to make it to Friday every week. I used to be proud of keeping my grandfather's house, maintaining it, proving I could hold on to something stable in an unstable world. Now it just felt empty. Anna showed up at 7:15 with bags of Chinese takeout from the good place across town and a manila folder tucked under her arm. Eat first, she said, unpacking containers on the kitchen table. Then we talk strategy. We sat at my kitchen table, mine now, not ours, and I realized I hadn't eaten there alone in 8 years. We'd always eaten together, or she'd eaten separately when I worked nights, but the table always felt like shared space. Now it was just mine. Talk, Anna said between bites of lo mein. I told her everything. The call at 11, the 30-minute eviction, the police, the recording, her friends already calling to paint me as the villain. She listened without interrupting, her nurse face on, the expression she used when patients told her about their symptoms, and she was diagnosing in real time. When I finished, she opened her folder. I called a family lawyer friend today during my lunch break, gave her the basic overview without using names. Here's what she said. Prenup is airtight if it was signed properly. House is yours if you owned it before marriage. Your recording is admissible in divorce proceedings in Ohio. Ohio is technically a no-fault divorce state, but infidelity still matters for asset division and spousal support determinations. You're in a very good legal position. She threatened me last night in a text. Said if I keep pushing, she'll claim I hit her. Anna's jaw tightened. Classic move. Oldest trick in the divorce playbook. Did you ever touch her in anger? Never. Not once in 8 years. Then she's playing with fire and she doesn't know it. False allegations leave evidence trails. Text messages, voicemails, contradictions, patterns. You document everything from here on out. Every single interaction. She's already spreading rumors. Her friends have been calling saying I went psycho. Let her. Seriously, let her run her mouth. The more she lies, the more rope she has to hang herself with later. People who lie compulsively always make mistakes. They contradict themselves, forget details, tell different versions to different people. It all comes out in court. Anna pushed a business card across the table. Lawyer's name is Patricia Morton. Call her Monday morning first thing. She's expensive, but she's brutal. Wins 90% of her cases. I pocketed the card. What else do I need to do? Bank accounts, credit cards. Anything joint needs immediate separation before she drains them out of spite. Already done. Went to the bank this afternoon before my shift. Moved my paycheck to a new individual account. Canceled all supplementary cards in her name. Anna smiled, proud. Good. You're learning fast. Most guys wait too long and get cleaned out. My phone lit up with a notification, a screenshot, forwarded from a number I didn't recognize. I opened it. Group chat, 5 participants. Olivia, Mia, and 3 other names I vaguely recognized from her endless girls' nights out that I'd funded without question. Olivia. I can't believe he's doing this to me. 8 years of marriage and he just throws me out like garbage. I'm sleeping in my car. Mia. Girl, you need to get a lawyer ASAP. He absolutely cannot just kick you out of your own house. That's illegal. Olivia. The house is technically his. We signed a prenup. God, I was so stupid to sign that thing. Mia. Doesn't matter. You lived there for 8 years. You have rights. Established residence. Make him pay for this. Olivia. He recorded me last night. The phone call with Jason. He has proof of everything. Mia. So what? He was probably controlling you emotionally for years. That's why you stepped out in the first place. You were escaping an abusive situation. Olivia. Exactly. He was always working. Never paid any attention to me. I was so lonely. I just wanted someone to notice me. Mia. There you go. That's your story. Emotional neglect, emotional abuse. You'll get half of everything once you frame it properly. I stared at the screen, reading it 3 times to make sure I wasn't misunderstanding. They were coaching her, building a false narrative in real time, turning her cheating into my abuse, rewriting history to make her the victim. Who sent this to you? Anna asked, reading over my shoulder. No idea. Anonymous number. Someone in her circle isn't as loyal as she thinks. I forwarded the screenshot to my own email address, backed it up to 3 different cloud services, took a photo of it with my camera as a backup to the backup. Then I replied to the anonymous sender. Thank you. If you have more, please keep them coming. Response came within 30 seconds. Will do. She's trash, and her friends are worse. Anna looked at me seriously. You've got an ally in her camp, that's huge. Apparently. Use it carefully. People who switch sides once will do it again. They're motivated by drama, not loyalty. But for now, they're useful. We finished eating in silence. Anna left around 9, making me promise I'd call the lawyer first thing Monday morning and wouldn't do anything stupid in the meantime. Alone again, I sat in my living room staring at the empty walls where wedding photos used to hang. The nail holes looked like wounds, small circular wounds in the drywall. My phone buzzed. Another text from that anonymous number, another screenshot. This one from a private conversation between Olivia and Jason. Jason. Your husband seriously kicked you out? That's hardcore. Olivia. Yeah. He's completely insane. Changed the locks while I was with you. I have nowhere to go. Jason. Damn. That's really cold. Olivia. Can I stay with you for a few days? Just until I figure out what to do next? Jason. Babe, I don't think that's a good idea right now. I've got roommates and my schedule is crazy with training sessions. It would be weird. Olivia. I literally have nowhere else to go, Jason. I left my husband for you. Jason. What about your friend Mia, or your parents? Olivia. Mia has a boyfriend living with her. My parents will ask too many questions. I need you right now. Jason. Look, last night was amazing, but we should probably slow things down a bit. This situation is really messy and complicated. Olivia. Slow down? Are you serious right now? I just destroyed my entire marriage for you. Jason. You left your husband because he caught you cheating. That's different from leaving him for me. Let's be honest about what this is. I read it 3 times, a cold smile spreading across my face. He was already backing away. The confident personal trainer was distancing himself now that she came with complications and baggage. She'd thrown away 8 years for a guy who was already ghosting her less than 24 hours later. I saved the screenshot, created a new folder on my laptop labeled Evidence Divorce, and started organizing everything systematically. Photos of receipts, screenshots of texts, the recording, bank statements, a timeline of events, contact information for witnesses, built a folder structure like I was organizing warehouse inventory, everything categorized and labeled. If she wanted war, she'd get it. But it would be fought on my terms, with my rules, using my preparation, and I never lost inventory. Monday morning, I called Patricia Morton's office from the warehouse parking lot during my break. "Morton Law, how can I help you?" Professional receptionist voice. "I need to schedule a consultation. Divorce case. My sister Anna referred me." "Oh, you're Anna's brother. She spoke very highly of you. Let me check Patricia's schedule. How's this afternoon at 3? "I work until 2. I can be there by 3:15. "Perfect. Bring all relevant documents, any prenuptial agreements, property deeds, financial records, evidence of infidelity, if applicable." "I have all of that." "Excellent. See you at 3:15. Her building was downtown, glass and steel and money, the kind of place where lawyers charged $400 an hour and had waiting rooms with leather furniture that cost more than my truck. I felt completely out of place in my work clothes, Carhartt jacket, steel-toe boots, jeans with a small oil stain on the knee. But I walked in anyway, shoulders back. The receptionist was friendly, led me back to Patricia's office after only a few minutes of waiting. Patricia Morton looked exactly like what I'd imagined when Anna described her. Mid-50s, sharp business suit, steel gray hair cut in a precise bob, glasses that probably cost more than my monthly mortgage. Her handshake was firm, her eyes evaluating. "Mr. Brennan," she said, "Anna spoke very highly of you. Please, have a seat." Her office had floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking downtown, mahogany desk, diplomas from impressive universities on the walls, shelves full of legal books and case files. I sat in a leather chair that probably cost more than everything in my living room combined. "Let's not waste time," Patricia said, opening a fresh legal pad. "Tell me everything," I told her. The phone call, the 30-minute eviction, the police report, the prenup, the evidence I'd gathered, her threats to claim abuse. Patricia took notes in efficient shorthand, interrupting only occasionally to ask specific questions about dates, times, witnesses. When I finished, she leaned back and smiled. Not a warm smile, a predatory smile. "Your case is exceptionally strong. The prenup is solid, property rights are clear, you have documented evidence of infidelity, and she's already making mistakes by threatening false allegations in writing. You're in the best position I've seen in months. She's going to claim I abused her. Her friends are already coaching her. They always do. It's the nuclear option when they have nothing else. Have you ever struck her?" "Never." "Threatened her verbally with violence?" "No." "Destroyed her property?" "No. Everything I removed from the house is intact in her car." "Good. Then it becomes her word against yours, and you have evidence of her character, her willingness to lie, and her premeditation. That destroys credibility in front of a judge." Patricia opened a folder. "Here's what we do. We file first. Establish the narrative before she can establish hers. Divorce petition citing adultery, request for enforcement of prenuptial agreement, no spousal support, clean property division per the prenup terms." "How fast can this happen?" "If she cooperates and doesn't contest, 30 days after filing. If she fights every step, 6 months to a year." "She'll fight." "Then we make it expensive for her. Every frivolous motion she files, we counter with evidence and request sanctions for wasting the court's time. Every lie she tells, we document and use to destroy her credibility. Eventually she runs out of money and emotional energy. They always do." "What's your retainer?" She slid a contract across the desk. I looked at the number and felt my stomach drop. $5,000 up front, with hourly rates after that. "I know it seems steep," Patricia said, reading my expression. "But I don't lose, Mr. Brennan. My win rate is 92%. You're not just hiring a lawyer. You're hiring someone who will ensure this doesn't destroy your life." I thought about my savings account, about what would happen if I tried to handle this myself against a liar with nothing to lose, about Olivia and her lawyer running circles around me in court while I fumbled through legal procedures I didn't understand. "I'll have the money by Wednesday." "Good. Bring it in, we'll file by Friday. In the meantime, I need you to document every single interaction with her. Record phone calls. Ohio is a single-party consent state, so you can legally record without informing her. Save every text message, every email, every voicemail, Screenshot everything before it can be deleted. Build an archive. Already started. She smiled again, that shark smile. You're going to be fine, Mr. Brennan. Better than fine. You're going to walk away from this with everything intact while she learns a very expensive lesson. I left her office feeling like I'd just hired a weapon. Tuesday evening, I went to the gym. Not mine. I couldn't afford a membership. Hers. The place she worked. Apex Fitness. It was one of those modern gyms with glass walls and motivational quotes in vinyl lettering everywhere. No pain, no gain. Stronger every day. Your body is your temple. The kind of place where people paid $70 a month to walk on treadmills they could buy for $500. But they needed the social aspect, the Instagram opportunities, the validation. I walked in wearing gym clothes I'd bought that afternoon at a discount store. Basketball shorts, plain t-shirt, cheap running shoes. Needed to look like a potential customer, not a vengeful husband on a reconnaissance mission. The girl at the front desk smiled with practiced enthusiasm. Blonde, early 20s, probably working here through college. Hi, welcome to Apex. Is this your first time? Yeah, thinking about joining. Wanted to check out the facilities first. That's perfect. Let me get one of our trainers to give you the full tour. She picked up a phone, paged overhead. Brad, please come to the front desk. Brad to the front desk. While I waited, I scanned the main floor. Rows of treadmills along the windows, people jogging while watching mounted TVs. Free weight section in the back, where muscular guys grunted and dropped weights. Group fitness studio to the left, where some high-energy class was in session. And behind the main desk, a hallway that probably led to offices and private training rooms. Hey there, a voice behind me, aggressively friendly. I'm Brad. Ready to see what Apex is all about? Brad was exactly what I expected. Mid-20s, tank top showing off sculpted arms, perfect teeth, hair styled with product, clipboard tucked under one arm. The kind of guy who posted gym selfies with captions about the grind. Sure, I said. He walked me through the facility, explaining membership tiers, class schedules, equipment features. I pretended to listen while scanning faces, looking for two specific people. Found Olivia first. She was at the juice bar in the corner, blending something green for a customer. She wore the gym's branded tank top and tight leggings, hair in a high ponytail, makeup carefully applied despite it being a gym. Playing the part of the fitness professional, even though her actual job was glorified receptionist. She hadn't seen me yet. And this is our nutrition bar, Brad said, gesturing proudly. All organic, locally sourced ingredients. Fresh smoothies, protein supplements, energy bars. Members get 10% off everything. I nodded, watching Olivia laugh at something the customer said, touching his arm lightly. Same flirtatious moves she used to use on me back when we first met, back when I thought I was special instead of just convenient. Then I saw Jason. He was in the free weight section, spotting someone on bench press. Tall, deeply tanned, muscles on muscles, wearing compression gear that showed off every definition. Perfect hair, perfect teeth, that confidence that comes from being told you're attractive since adolescence. That's Jason, Brad said, following my gaze. One of our absolute best trainers, really popular with clients, has a waiting list for his schedule going out to next month. I bet he does. Want to meet him? He sometimes has openings for new clients if he really connects with someone. No thanks. Just browsing today. Brad finished the tour, walking me past locker rooms and studios, and a sauna that looked like it cost more than my truck. Quoted me prices that were absurd for someone making warehouse wages, handed me a glossy brochure with photos of attractive people pretending to work out. I thanked him and walked toward the exit. That's when Olivia spotted me. Her face went white. The shaker bottle she was holding clattered onto the counter, bouncing, spilling green liquid everywhere. I didn't acknowledge her. Just kept walking like she was invisible. Like she didn't exist. Outside, I sat in my truck in the parking lot across the street and waited, engine off, windows cracked. 45 minutes later, Jason walked out with a woman. Not Olivia. Someone younger, maybe mid-20s, wearing yoga pants and a sports bra that showed off her figure. They stood close, his hand on her lower back, both of them laughing. She gave him a hug that lasted too long, her body pressed against his. I took 3 photos with my phone. They got in separate cars and left in opposite directions. I waited another 20 minutes. Olivia came out next, alone. She walked quickly to her car, head down, shoulders hunched, got in and just sat there. I could see her through the windshield in the glow of the streetlight. She was crying, face in her hands, shoulders shaking. Part of me felt something. Not quite sympathy, more like recognition of pain. But mostly, I felt nothing. My phone buzzed. Text from the anonymous number that had been feeding me information. You came to the gym. Ballsy move. I looked around the parking lot. Didn't see anyone obviously watching. I typed back, just seeing where she works. Who are you? Someone who works here too. Someone who's completely sick of Jason's games and his victims. Why help me specifically? Because he did the exact same thing to me, and I'm tired of watching him ruin lives like it's a hobby. Can we meet in person? O'Brien's Bar. Tomorrow night, 9 p.m. Come alone. I'll explain everything then. I agreed and drove home, mind racing through possibilities and scenarios. An inside source. Someone with access to the gym, to their schedules, to their conversations. Someone with a grudge against Jason and reasons to want him destroyed. That was leverage I hadn't expected. That was ammunition. O'Brien's Bar was in the warehouse district, tucked between a closed factory and an auto repair shop. Dark wood paneling, cracked leather booths with duct tape holding the upholstery together, neon beer signs glowing in dirty windows. The kind of place where third-shift workers came to drink away their problems, and nobody asked uncomfortable questions about why you were drinking whiskey at 10 a.m. I arrived at 8:55 p.m., early enough to scope the place, scanned the room carefully, spotted her in a back booth sitting alone. She was pretty in that tired, seen-too-much way. Dark hair pulled back in a ponytail, minimal makeup, wearing black jeans and a leather jacket over a simple shirt. Late 20s, maybe early 30s. She had a whiskey in front of her, nursing it slowly, checking her phone periodically. I slid into the booth across from her. Carla? Nick. She looked me over carefully, evaluating. You look like your pictures, or at least like the pictures Olivia used to show everyone at the gym when she was still pretending to be happily married. You don't look like someone who'd help a complete stranger destroy someone's life. She laughed, no humor in it. I'm not helping a stranger. I'm helping myself get revenge on someone who deserves it. You're just the current victim, which makes us allies. She finished her whiskey in one swallow, signaled the bartender for another. The bartender, an older guy with tattoos up both arms, brought it without a word. You want something? She asked me. Beer, whatever's on tap and cheap. The bartender brought me something in a slightly dirty glass. I didn't care. Carla waited until he was gone, then leaned forward. Jason's my ex. We were together for 2 years, lived together for 6 months in an apartment near the university. Then I found out he was sleeping with at least 4 of his clients simultaneously. Probably more, I never confirmed. How long ago? 8 months since I caught him. But I never left the gym. Couldn't afford to quit. And honestly, I wanted to watch him. So I've been working there, collecting evidence, watching him do this same exact thing over and over and over. Your wife is victim number 4 that I personally know about since we broke up. Probably more I haven't identified. The bartender brought my beer. I took a long drink, thinking. What's his pattern? I asked. Married women, usually. Or women in long-term relationships. Bored, looking for validation, wanting to feel young and attractive again. He makes them feel special. Tells them their husbands or boyfriends don't appreciate them properly. Creates this fantasy connection where he's the perfect man who truly understands them. Then when things get complicated, divorce threats, angry husbands, emotional demands, he dumps them cold and moves on to the next one. Olivia fit right into that pattern. She's not special. She's just convenient and available. He probably picked her the first week she started working there. Carla pulled out her phone, swiped through screens, showed me images, screenshots of messages between Jason and multiple women, photos of him with different clients in compromising positions, hotel receipts with dates and times. I've been collecting evidence for 8 months, waiting for the right moment to use it. Why now? Why me? Because you're actually fighting back. Most guys just walk away, get drunk, let it destroy them quietly. They take the loss and try to rebuild. You locked her out in 30 minutes and hired a lawyer by Monday. That takes guts and intelligence. She studied me. Plus, Jason thinks he's completely untouchable. Time someone proved he's not. My beer was cold and tasted like water and chemicals. What do you want from me specifically? Your evidence. The recording from that phone call, the text messages, the hotel receipts, everything you've got on both of them. Proof that he systematically targeted another man's wife. That makes it a pattern, not an isolated incident, a liability for the gym. What are you going to do with it? His contract at Apex has a very specific morality clause. No intimate relationships with clients or staff members. No conduct that could bring negative attention to the facility. If gym management finds out he violated those terms multiple times, creating legal liability, he's terminated immediately. Plus, there's a non-compete clause that bars him from working at any gym, health club, or fitness facility in the entire county for 18 months. You want to destroy his career completely. I want him to feel exactly what I felt. What you're feeling right now, disposable, replaceable, used up and thrown away like garbage. Her eyes were hard. I want him to understand that actions have consequences. And if I give you this evidence, what happens to me? Any blowback? All anonymously. Burner email addresses, untraceable complaints, information passed through third parties. Your name never appears anywhere. No connection to you whatsoever. I know how to cover tracks. I studied her carefully. She was serious, angry but controlled, methodical. This was deeply personal for her, like it was for me. She'd been planning this for months, waiting for the right opportunity, the right victim to provide the final pieces she needed. What's the catch? I finally asked. No catch. What do you think the catch is? I don't know. This. I gestured between us. Some kind of rebound situation, emotional connection, trading one mess for another. She laughed for real this time, loud enough that the bartender glanced over. God, no. Absolutely not. I'm not fixing my emotional issues by jumping straight into another man's problems. I'm fixing them by making Jason regret underestimating me and thinking he could get away with this forever. Good. Because I'm not interested in any kind of relationship right now. Romantic, emotional, whatever. I just want this finished. She held out her hand across the table. Deal? I shook it. Her grip was firm, calloused from bartending work. Deal. I pulled out my phone, started airdropping files. The recording from the phone call, screenshots from her group chat with Mia, hotel receipts, photos of charges on credit card statements, text messages between her and Jason, everything I'd compiled systematically. Her phone buzzed repeatedly as files transferred, screen lighting up over and over. She reviewed each one carefully, nodding occasionally, taking notes on a small pad she pulled from her jacket pocket. This is better than I even hoped for, she said after several minutes. That recording especially. He was physically in the room when she called you. That shows reckless disregard for consequences, pattern of behavior. Can you really end his career with this? His career, his reputation, his side income from those nightclub promotions he does, his Instagram sponsorships, all of it. Once word spreads that he's a serial homewrecker with multiple ethics violations, nobody in the fitness industry will touch him. He'll be radioactive. When does this start happening? Already started. She showed me her phone, an email draft addressed to Apex Fitness corporate offices. I sent the first anonymous complaint to regional management 25 minutes before you arrived tonight. Included photos of him with that yoga pants client you photographed yesterday. Your evidence will be the devastating second wave. Give it 1 week, maybe 2 maximum. What about Olivia? She's threatening to claim I abused her. Carla's expression hardened noticeably. Let her try. You've got proof of her affair, proof of her plotting false allegations with her friends, and a prenuptial agreement. She's got nothing but lies and manufactured tears. Lies can stick sometimes, ruin reputations. Not if you control the narrative properly. You've got a lawyer now. You've got documented evidence. You've got me feeding you real-time information from inside their world. Stay smart. Don't swing first at anything and just let them bury themselves with their own mistakes. They're already doing that. Good. That's good. She stood up, dropped cash on the table for her drinks. I'll keep you updated constantly. Jason brags when he drinks, especially here. I hear absolutely everything. I really appreciate this. Don't thank me yet. Thank me when he's unemployed and she's homeless, and they both understand what they destroyed. She walked toward the door, stopped halfway, turned back. One more thing you should know. Jason gets aggressive when he's cornered. I mean physically aggressive, not just verbally. He put a hole in my apartment wall when I confronted him about the cheating. Never hit me directly, but came close. Watch yourself. I will. Good luck, Nick. She left. I sat there for another 10 minutes, nursing the terrible beer, thinking through scenarios and outcomes and possibilities. I had evidence. I had an ally inside Jason's world with access and motivation. I had legal positioning through Patricia. I had financial control. I had Olivia's own words plotting against me. What I didn't have was emotional closure. But that was fine. Revenge doesn't run on feelings. It runs on preparation and patience. The bank lobby smelled like air conditioning and bad decisions. I sat across from the account manager, a woman named Helen who'd handled my grandfather's accounts for 30 years. You want to remove Olivia from all accounts, she confirmed, typing. Yes, joint checking, savings, credit cards. Remove her as authorized user, freeze her cards, transfer any funds to my new individual account. Helen looked at me over her glasses. This is divorce-related? Separation. Prenups in effect. I'll need documentation. I handed her copies. She reviewed them, nodded, kept typing. It'll take 24 hours for the cards to freeze. The account transfers will be immediate. Perfect. She'll be notified by mail. I'm aware. Helen processed everything with professional efficiency. No judgment, no personal questions, just paperwork and signatures. When I walked out 30 minutes later, Olivia's access to our money was gone. Next stop, Patricia Morton's law office. The building was nicer than I expected. New construction, glass doors, potted plants that looked expensive. I felt out of place in my work boots and Carhartt jacket. Patricia's office was on the 3rd floor. Her receptionist led me back immediately. Patricia Morton looked like she ate opposing counsel for breakfast. 50-something, sharp suit, steel gray hair, expression that suggested she'd seen everything twice. Mr. Brennan, she said, shaking my hand. Anna spoke highly of you. Have a seat. I sat. She opened a folder. I've reviewed the materials you sent. Prenup, deed, evidence of infidelity. Your position is strong. She's threatening to claim I abused her. Patricia didn't flinch. Common tactic. Hard to prove, harder to disprove. That's why documentation matters. She pulled out a legal pad. Have you ever hit her? No. Threatened her? No. Any witnesses to arguments that could be twisted? None that I know of. Good. Now she'll likely file for spousal support, claim economic hardship, paint you as controlling. How do we counter? I have her texts admitting to the affair. I have her friends coaching her to lie. I have proof she's been cheating for months, spending money we didn't have, and planning to manipulate the system. Patricia smiled. Cold and calculating. That's a solid defense. Her credibility collapses if we show premeditation of false allegations. Judges hate that. What's next? File first. Establish your narrative before she can establish hers. Divorce on grounds of adultery, request division per prenup, document her alienation of assets and reckless spending. How long? Depends on her cooperation. If she fights, 6 months to a year. If she's smart and settles, 30 days. She's not smart. Then we go to war. Patricia spent the next hour outlining strategy, restraining orders if she harassed me, subpoenas for her phone records if needed, character witnesses from my work. By the time I left, I had a plan and a retainer invoice that would drain my savings. Worth it. That night, Olivia's credit cards started declining. I know because my anonymous source, Carla, sent me screenshots from Mia's Instagram story. Video of them at some restaurant, laughing, Olivia's card getting rejected. OMG, try another one. Mia's voice in the background. Second card rejected. Third card rejected. Olivia's face in the video went from embarrassed to furious. Within an hour, my phone exploded with texts from blocked numbers. Unknown. What did you do? Unknown. You froze my cards? That's illegal. Unknown. I need money for food and you're punishing me? I didn't respond. Let her spiral. Next morning, she showed up at the warehouse. Security called me to the gate at 10 a.m. There's a woman here demanding to see you. Says she's your wife. Ex-wife. Don't let her in. Copy that. But I went to the gate anyway, stayed on my side of the fence. Olivia stood in the visitor parking area, arms crossed, face red. You froze my accounts! she shouted across the chain link. I removed you from my accounts. There's a difference. I have bills. I need my car payment, my phone, my... Should have thought about that before you upgraded to a personal trainer with a financed BMW. You're going to regret this, Nick. I talked to a lawyer. You can't just cut me off financially. That's abandonment. Ohio's an equitable distribution state. You're not entitled to my income during separation, especially with a prenup and proof of adultery. But please, bring your lawyer. Mine's excited to meet them. Her face went white. You hired a lawyer? Filed this morning. You'll be served by Friday. For what? Divorce, citing adultery, requesting enforcement of prenuptial agreement, zero spousal support. She stared at me like I'd slapped her. You're serious? Completely. Nick, please. Baby, we can fix this. I made a mistake. I was confused. I was lonely. Save it for your lawyer, or Jason, or whoever you're living with now. I'm living in my car. That's unfortunate. Her eyes filled with tears. Real or fake, I couldn't tell anymore. You're really going to destroy me over one mistake? One mistake? Olivia, I found hotel receipts going back 4 months. I have texts where you and Mia planned how to manipulate me. I have recordings of you and Jason mocking me. This wasn't one mistake. This was a campaign. That's not... Go home. Or wherever you're staying. Wait for the papers. Sign them. Move on. And if I don't? Then we go to court and everyone, your parents, your friends, his gym, his clients, everyone hears exactly who you are. She wiped her eyes, makeup smearing. If you keep pushing me, I'll tell them you hit me. You threatened me. You abused me for years. There it was. The nuclear option. Do it, I said calmly. Please. File a police report. Claim abuse. Get a restraining order. I'm begging you. She blinked. What? Because then it's on record. And when my lawyer proves you lied, and we will, you'll face charges for filing a false report, perjury, maybe even defamation. So please, Olivia, make my day. Her mouth opened, closed, no words came out. I turned and walked back toward the warehouse. This isn't over, she screamed after me. Yes, I said without turning around. It really is. The police came to the warehouse 3 days later. I was in the middle of loading a shipment when Ethan jogged over, face serious. Nick, 2 cops in the office, asking for you. My stomach dropped, but I kept my expression neutral. All right, cover my route. The officers were waiting in the break room with my supervisor, Bill. Both cops looked tired, like this was their 5th domestic call of the day. Nick Brennan? The older one asked. That's me. I'm Officer Martinez. This is Officer Sullivan. We need to ask you some questions about a domestic incident. What incident? Your wife, ex-wife, filed a complaint claiming you physically assaulted her and made threats against her life during an argument last week. Bill looked at me, worried. I stayed calm. That's a lie. Sir, we have to investigate all claims. I understand. Ask your questions. Martinez pulled out a notepad. She claims you grabbed her by the arm, threw her belongings onto the driveway, and told her you'd make her disappear if she came back. When did this allegedly happen? Last Tuesday night, around midnight. I did remove her belongings from my house. I own the house. We have a prenup establishing that. And I discovered she'd been cheating on me. I exercised my legal right to deny her access to my property, but I never touched her, never threatened her, and there were witnesses. Witnesses? 2 of your fellow officers. Williams and another officer, younger guy, didn't catch his name. They responded to her 911 call that night. They reviewed my documents, confirmed everything was legal, and left. Check your records. Martinez and Sullivan exchanged glances. Did you record the incident? Martinez asked. I recorded the phone call where I discovered her affair. Would you like to hear it? That's not necessary right now. I also have security footage from my house showing her arriving after I'd already moved her things outside. Shows me staying in the doorway, never approaching her, never touching her. I can provide that. Martinez wrote notes. Do you have copies of the documents from that night? The prenup deed? In my truck. I can get them. Please. I walked to the parking lot, grabbed my folder, came back, handed everything to Martinez. He reviewed it while Sullivan watched me. This prenup specifies the house is your premarital asset, Martinez confirmed. Correct. My grandfather left it to me. She moved in after we married and signed acknowledging she had no claim to it. And you have proof of her infidelity? Recorded phone call where she accidentally called me from her lover's bed. Text messages where she admits it. Screenshots of her planning false allegations with friends. I pulled out my phone, showed them the messages Carla had forwarded. That one's from 3 days ago, her friend coaching her to claim abuse. Martinez read it. His expression shifted. Mr. Brennan, I'm going to be honest with you. This looks like a false report. I know. You want to press charges? Not yet. I want her to dig her hole deeper first. Sullivan spoke for the first time. Sir, false allegations are serious. If you have proof she's lying, I have proof. But if I press charges now, she plays victim. If I wait until she's committed to her story, testified to it, doubled down in front of lawyers and judges, then I have her. Martinez closed his notepad. That's a risk. If she convinces anyone, she won't. Because I document everything. Every interaction, every text, every witness. She's not smart enough to keep her lies straight. They looked at each other again. Some silent cop communication. We'll note in our report that you provided evidence contradicting her claims, Martinez said. But she can still pursue this through the courts. Let her. They left. Bill pulled me aside once they were gone. Nick, what the hell is going on? Divorce. She's trying to destroy me because I caught her cheating. Is she going to cause problems for the company? No, this is personal between us. If it affects your work, it won't. I'm handling it. Bill didn't look convinced, but he nodded. All right, but keep me informed. Will do. Back on the floor, Ethan waited by my forklift. You good? Yeah, she lied to the cops. They didn't buy it. She's that desperate? She's that stupid. My phone buzzed. Text from Carla. Jason just got called into a meeting with gym management. 3 clients filed complaints. He's sweating. I smiled. Things were accelerating. Olivia's parents invited me to Sunday dinner. The invitation came via text from her mother, Ellen. Nick, we need to talk as a family. Please come over Sunday at 6. It's important. I knew what this was. Intervention. They'd heard Olivia's version, believed it, and planned to shame me into backing down. Perfect. I showed up at 5:55 wearing clean jeans and a button-down. Respectable, calm. Their house was small but tidy, working class like mine. Olivia's dad, Frank, opened the door. Handshake was firm but wary. Nick. Frank. Inside, the dining room table was set for 5. Olivia sat at one end looking fragile and tearful. Her mother hovered nearby, and Jason, Jason was there too, sitting across from Olivia like he belonged. This would be entertaining. Thanks for coming, Ellen said. Please, sit. I sat at the opposite end from Olivia. Jason stared at me, trying to look tough. I ignored him. Frank cleared his throat. Nick, Olivia told us what happened. We want to hear your side. Sure. What did she tell you? That you kicked her out without warning, Ellen said. That you froze her accounts and filed for divorce. That you've been cruel and controlling. I nodded. Anything else? That you grabbed her? Frank added. Threatened her. Got it. I pulled out my phone. Mind if I clarify some things? Olivia's face went pale. Dad, he's going to twist everything. Let him talk, Frank said. I opened my recording app. This is from the night everything happened. Tuesday, 11 p.m. Olivia called me by accident. I hit play. Her voice filled the quiet room, breathing hard, moaning. Male laughter in the background. Jason's laughter, I realized, watching his face. The bed creaking. Then my voice calm. Take your time. I'll need some to pack your things. I stopped the recording. Ellen looked horrified. Frank's jaw was tight. Jason stared at his plate. Olivia started crying. I told you I made a mistake. I was lonely. He was never home, always working. I was working 60-hour weeks to pay for the house you wanted renovated, I said. The car you wanted to lease. The lifestyle you wanted. That's not fair. I have hotel receipts going back 4 months. I placed printed pages on the table. Charges to our joint credit card for rooms at the Starlight Motel, the Best Western on Route 9, even a nice place downtown twice. All while I was working night shifts? Frank picked up the receipts. Read them. His expression hardened. And before anyone asks if I touched her, I pulled out my phone again, showed the video from my security camera. This is from that night. Shows me standing in the doorway while she tries her key. Shows her calling the police. Shows me never approaching her, never touching her. 2 officers confirmed everything was legal. Ellen wiped her eyes. Olivia, you said he threw you out violently. He did. The police report says otherwise, I interrupted. And if you want to claim I threatened you, explain this. I showed them the screenshots of her group chat with Mia, where they discussed making up abuse allegations. Frank read them. His face went dark red. You were planning to lie about him? Dad, no, that's taken out of context. It's word for word, I said. Mia telling you to claim emotional abuse, you agreeing to say I controlled you. There's no context that makes this okay. Jason finally spoke. Look, man, emotions were high. People say things. You don't get to talk, Frank snapped at him. You're sleeping with a married woman and sitting at my table like you're part of this family? Jason shut up. Ellen looked at Olivia. Is any of what he's saying untrue? Olivia sobbed. I made mistakes, okay? But he's ruining my life over it. You ruined your own life, I said. I just stopped participating in it. You froze my money. I can't even eat. I removed you from my accounts funded by my paycheck in my name for my household. We have a prenup. You're not entitled to my income. But we're married. Not for long. Frank stood up, looked at Olivia, then at Jason, then at me. Nick, I apologize. We heard one side and you assumed I was the villain because she cried and told you I was. That's normal. But now you know. Ellen was crying now too. Olivia, how could you? Mom, please. We raised you better than this. To cheat, to lie, to try to destroy a good man's reputation. He wasn't perfect either. He was working, Frank shouted. He was keeping a roof over your head, and you thanked him by... He couldn't finish. Jason stood up. I think we should go. Sit down, Frank growled. Jason sat. Frank turned to him. You're a personal trainer? Yeah. At Apex Fitness? Yeah. Does your boss know you're sleeping with clients? Jason's face went white. I'm not. Save it. You're about to lose that job, and everyone here knows it. Silence. Olivia looked at me, mascara streaked. Are you happy? You've turned everyone against me. I didn't turn anyone. I just showed them who you are. She stood, grabbed her purse. I can't believe you're all taking his side. We're not taking sides, Ellen said quietly. We're looking at facts. Olivia stormed toward the door. Jason followed. Before they left, Frank said, Olivia, don't come back here until you apologize to Nick and figure out who you want to be. The door slammed. I sat there with Olivia's parents in heavy silence. Finally, Ellen spoke. Nick, I'm so sorry. It's not your fault. We should have known something was wrong. She's a good liar. I didn't know for months. Frank rubbed his face. What happens now? Divorce. She signs. We split per the prenup. We move on. And if she doesn't sign? Then my lawyer makes her life very difficult until she does. Frank nodded. For what it's worth, you deserved better. I know. I left their house at 7:30, drove home in silence. My phone buzzed. Text from Carla. Jason got fired, effective immediately, non-compete clause activated. Another text. Olivia's friends are posting vague Instagram stories about how you never really know people. They're distancing from her. I parked in my driveway, looked at my quiet house. Everything was collapsing for them, exactly as planned. Things fell apart faster after that. Within a week, Jason was blacklisted from every gym in the county. His Instagram followers, built on fitness influencer nonsense, started dropping when word spread about his ethics violations, the nightclub where he promoted cut ties. Olivia, meanwhile, was couch surfing. Mia let her crash for 3 days before kicking her out. She tried 2 other friends. Neither lasted a week. I know because Carla kept me updated. Her sources inside their social circle were feeding her everything. She's burning bridges everywhere, Carla said over the phone one night. Asking for money, demanding places to stay, blaming everyone else for her problems. And Jason? Avoiding her. He's trying to rebuild his reputation, distance himself from the scandal. She's toxic now. Good. There's something else, Carla said. Jason's planning something. I heard him talking to a buddy at the bar. Something about getting evidence from your work. Evidence of what? He didn't say, but he sounded desperate. I thought about it. My warehouse. He thinks I have documents there. Evidence stored somewhere they can destroy or steal. Would you? No. But he's not smart enough to know that. You should be careful. I'm always careful. 2 nights later, my instinct proved right. Ethan called me at 11 p.m. Nick, you need to get to the warehouse, now. What's wrong? Security cameras picked up movement in your section. 2 people. They broke in through the loading dock. Call the police. Already did. But I thought you'd want to know. I grabbed my keys and drove. The warehouse at night was a different animal. Sodium lights casting long shadows between pallets. The hum of refrigeration units. Empty forklifts parked in rows. I pulled into the lot just as 2 police cruisers arrived. Met them at the gate. You the employee who called it in? One officer asked. My co-worker did. I'm Nick Brennan. This is my section they broke into. Security met us at the entrance, pulled up camera footage on his tablet. Clear images of 2 people forcing open the loading dock door, moving through the warehouse. Olivia and Jason. You know them? The officer asked. My ex-wife and her boyfriend. I'm going through a divorce. They must think I'm storing evidence here. Evidence? Of her infidelity. I'm not. But they're desperate enough to try. We entered the building. Officers had flashlights, moved tactically. I led them to my section, heard noise before we got there, crashing, shouting. Police! Show yourselves! Olivia shrieked. Jason swore. We found them in my locker area. Jason had pried open my locker with a crowbar. Olivia was rifling through my stuff, work gloves, spare boots, a jacket. Hands where we can see them, an officer ordered. They both froze. Jason dropped the crowbar, put his hands up. This isn't what it looks like. Looks like breaking and entering, the officer said. Turn around. Hands behind your back. Wait, no, They were cuffed quickly. Read their rights. Olivia was crying, makeup running, wearing the same clothes she'd been wearing for 2 days probably. Nick, please, she begged. Tell them it's a misunderstanding. It's not a misunderstanding, I said. You broke into my workplace looking for evidence to use against me in the divorce. We just wanted to destroy anything that makes you look bad, except I don't keep that stuff here. It's in 3 different places you'll never find. The officers searched them, found Jason's phone with Notes app open, a list. Nick's locker, office desk, manager files. Premeditated, one officer said. That's felony burglary. Jason's face went pale. Olivia sobbed harder. Security showed the officers more footage. Jason forcing the door. Olivia acting as lookout. Both entering restricted areas. Jason using the crowbar to damage company property. Who wants to press charges? The officer asked. Security looked at me. Company policy is to prosecute. Then do it, I said. Nick, no, Olivia screamed. You can't do this. I'm your wife. Ex-wife, and yes, I can. They were walked out in handcuffs. Jason tried to look tough, failed. Olivia was hysterical, begging, saying she'd sign any divorce paper I wanted. Too late for that. After they were gone, Ethan appeared. You good? Yeah, thanks for the heads up. No problem. That's what you get for dating a gym rat. I almost smiled. Apparently. Security handed me an incident report to sign. They'll be charged with breaking and entering, vandalism, attempted theft. This'll go to court. Good. I drove home at 2 a.m., adrenaline fading, exhaustion settling in. My phone buzzed. Carla. I heard. You okay? Fine. They walked right into it. Jason's an idiot. Yeah, but a desperate idiot is dangerous. Not anymore. His bail's going to be steep. And Olivia has no money. She'll call her parents. Already did. Frank told her to figure it out herself. I pulled into my driveway, sat in the truck for a moment. It was almost over. They were almost broken. Just one more move. The preliminary hearing was set for Thursday morning. Small courtroom, nothing fancy. Olivia had managed to scrape together a lawyer, some guy who looked fresh out of school and overmatched. Patricia Morton sat next to me, calm and predatory. Remember, she said quietly. Let them talk. Let her lawyer present his case. We'll tear it apart after. Olivia sat across the room with her lawyer. She'd tried to clean up, wore a conservative dress, minimal makeup, playing the victim. Jason wasn't there. He'd been released on bail but was dealing with his own legal issues. The judge entered. Everyone stood. "Let's keep this brief," Judge Carey said. "This is preliminary mediation for dissolution of marriage. Mrs. Brennan, you're contesting the terms of the prenuptial agreement?" Olivia's lawyer stood. "Yes, Your Honor. We believe the prenup was signed under duress and doesn't reflect the equitable reality of the marriage." Duress? My client was pressured to sign days before the wedding. She had no independent legal counsel. She didn't understand. Patricia stood. "Your Honor, the prenup was signed 3 months before the wedding. Mrs. Brennan had ample time to review. Multiple witnesses can attest to this, including her own mother who encouraged her to seek independent counsel, which she declined." The judge looked at Olivia. "Did you have opportunity to review the prenup?" Yes, but... And you signed voluntarily?" "I thought we'd never need it." "That's not the question. Did anyone force you to sign?" Silence. "No, Your Honor." "Then the prenup stands. Next issue." Olivia's lawyer shuffled papers. "Your Honor, we're requesting spousal support. My client has no income, no housing, and was financially dependent on Mr. Brennan." "Mrs. Brennan is employed," Patricia said. "She works at Apex Fitness. Additionally, she has marketable skills and is capable of self-support. Furthermore, the marriage dissolved due to her admitted infidelity, which Ohio courts consider in spousal support determinations." "Admitted infidelity?" Judge Carey asked. Patricia handed up documents. "Recorded evidence, text messages, witness statements. All confirm Mrs. Brennan engaged in an extramarital affair for approximately 4 months prior to separation." The judge reviewed them. Her expression didn't change, but something flickered in her eyes. "Mrs. Brennan, is this accurate?" Olivia looked at her lawyer. He nodded slightly. "I made mistakes," she said quietly, "but that doesn't mean I should be left with nothing." "The prenup specifies exactly what you're entitled to," Judge Carey said, "which, according to this, is nothing. You waived all claims to Mr. Brennan's pre-marital assets and agreed to no spousal support in the event of dissolution due to infidelity." "But, Your Honor, do you dispute the infidelity?" Silence. "Mrs. Brennan? No. Then we're done here. The prenup is enforced. No spousal support. Assets remain with Mr. Brennan as specified. You have 30 days to finalize signatures and file the decree." Olivia's lawyer tried to object. The judge shut him down. "Unless you have evidence that the prenup was fraudulent or signed under actual duress, not regret, this ruling stands. Your Honor, my client has nowhere to live. That's a personal matter, not a legal one. Court adjourned." The gavel hit. Olivia sat frozen. Her lawyer packed his briefcase, whispering to her. She nodded numbly. Patricia and I left the courtroom. "That's it?" I asked. "That's it. She'll sign within a week. She can't afford to drag this out." "And the criminal charges?" "Jason's looking at probation minimum, maybe county jail time depending on his priors. Olivia will probably get probation and restitution for the warehouse damages. So no prison. Not for this, but her reputation's destroyed. That's worse than prison in some ways." Patricia was right. Over the next 3 days, I watched from a distance as Olivia's life finished collapsing. Her Instagram went private after too many comments about the arrest. Mia and her other friends stopped tagging her in posts. She got fired from the gym, not for the affair, but for the arrest and negative attention it brought. Jason moved back in with his parents 2 states away, fleeing the wreckage. And Olivia signed the divorce papers. Patricia called me Wednesday morning. "It's done. She signed everything. 30-day waiting period, then it's final." That easy? She's out of options, no money, no support, no leverage. She took the only path left. I hung up, sat in my living room, nobody else's, and felt nothing. No triumph, no satisfaction, just quiet. My phone buzzed, text from Carla. "Heard she signed. Congrats. Thanks. Couldn't have done it without you. Sure you could have. I just sped things up. What now?" "Now I rebuild." "Good. You deserve that." I looked around my empty house, walls still bare where wedding photos used to hang, furniture that needed replacing, a life that needed filling. But it was mine. 4 weeks after the divorce finalized, Olivia left town. I heard through Carla that she'd moved back in with her parents temporarily, then found a tiny apartment 3 hours away, new city, new job, fresh start attempt. Jason disappeared from social media entirely. Last I heard, he was working construction somewhere, trying to stay under the radar. Their reputations in this town were cooked. I ran into Mia once at a gas station. She saw me, looked away, pretended she hadn't. I didn't push it. She'd picked her side and lost. That was enough. Ethan and I kept working together, kept the shifts moving. He never brought up Olivia unless I did. Good friend like that. Anna called every week to check in, made sure I was eating, sleeping, not spiraling. I wasn't. I'd processed it all during the war. Now I just existed in the aftermath. One Saturday I drove to my grandfather's grave. Hadn't been in years. Stood there looking at the headstone. Simple, plain. His name and dates. Kept the house, Gramps, I said to the stone. Almost lost it, but I kept it. Wind moved through the cemetery trees. Cold October air. She tried to take everything. But the prenup held. The one you told me to get when I said I was getting married. You were right. I stood there 10 more minutes. Said nothing else. Just stood. Then I left. 3 months later, I was loading pallets when my supervisor Bill came over. Nick, got a minute? Sure. We walked to his office. He closed the door. Corporate's been reviewing the break-in incident, he said. How you handled it, how you kept working through the divorce, all of it. Okay. They're offering you a promotion. Shift supervisor. Better pay, benefits, management track. I blinked. Seriously? You proved you can handle pressure. They want people like that in leadership. I don't know what to say. Say yes. Yes. Bill grinned. Good. Start next Monday. We'll train you on the administrative side. I walked back to the floor in a daze. Ethan saw my face. You good? I got promoted. Hell yeah. Drinks after shift? Yeah, drinks. That night at O'Brien's, Ethan bought the first round. We sat in the same booth where I'd met Carla months ago. To surviving crazy exes, Ethan said, raising his beer. To surviving. We drank. Halfway through my second beer, a text came in. Unknown number. Hey, it's Olivia. I know you probably don't want to hear from me, but I wanted to say I'm sorry. For everything. You didn't deserve what I did. I hope you're doing okay. I stared at it. Ethan glanced over. Her? Yeah. You gonna respond? I thought about it. Thought about everything. The call, the 30-minute eviction, the recording, the lawyers, the family dinner, the warehouse break-in. All of it. Then I deleted the message without responding. No, I said. I'm not. Good. We finished our drinks and went home. 6 months after the divorce, I renovated the house. New paint, new furniture, took down the last bits of her existence. Light fixtures she'd picked, curtains I'd hated, made it mine completely. Anna helped. She brought her girlfriend Rachel, who had opinions about throw pillows and accent walls. I didn't care about those things, but I let them decorate. Looks good, Anna said when we finished. Feels like a new place. That's the point. Rachel was arranging flowers on the kitchen table. You seeing anyone yet? No. Want to? Eventually. Not yet. Fair enough. That night, after they left, I sat on my new couch in my repainted living room and felt something I hadn't felt in years. Peace. Not happiness. Not yet. But peace. My phone buzzed. Text from Carla. Heard you got promoted. Proud of you. Thanks. How are you? Good. Dating someone new. Actually healthy this time. That's great. You should try it. Maybe. Maybe isn't no. I smiled, texted back. Maybe isn't no. 1 year after the phone call that ended my marriage, I was loading a late shift when a woman walked into the warehouse. She was lost, looking for the office, ended up on the floor. I pointed her in the right direction. Thanks, she said. This place is a maze. You get used to it. She smiled. Brown eyes, friendly, real. I'm Nicole, new hire in logistics. Nick, shift supervisor. Oh, you're the one they said I should ask if I have questions. Guilty. She lingered a moment. Can I ask you something now? Sure. Best place for lunch around here? I thought about it. There's a diner 2 blocks west. Good coffee, decent sandwiches. Want to show me sometime? I paused. Looked at her. She wasn't flirting aggressively, just friendly, interested. Yeah, I said. I'd like that. She smiled again. Tomorrow? Tomorrow. She left to find the office. I went back to loading pallets. Ethan walked by, grinning. Did you just agree to a lunch date? Maybe. Good. About time. Maybe it was. The house sits quiet now. My house, not ours. Mine. Some nights I think about that phone call. Her breathing hard, struggling to speak, the male laugh in the background, and I think about my response. Calm, cold, precise. Take your time. I'll need some to pack your things. 30 minutes to dismantle 8 years. People say revenge is empty, that it doesn't fix anything. They're wrong. Revenge isn't about fixing. It's about balancing scales, making sure the person who hurt you understands what they took and what it cost them to take it. Olivia took my trust, my time, my money, my dignity. I took her comfort, her reputation, her social circle, her security. Equal exchange. I don't regret it. I'd do it exactly the same if I could rewind. But I don't need to rewind, because I won, and she lost. And now I'm building something new on ground I cleared myself. Nicole and I had lunch yesterday. We talked about normal things, work, family, goals. She laughed at my jokes, I laughed at hers. It felt good, it felt possible. After lunch, walking back to the warehouse, she said, "You're different than I expected." Different how? I don't know. Calmer, more together. I'm just tired of chaos. I get that. Maybe she did. We'll see.